It says I'm live. I'm live with family here. You can hear them in the background. Oh, there's my wife. Hey, gorgeous. Nobody's actually watching right now. It usually takes a little bit for people to log in. Good morning. It is May 27th, Friday. I actually have Lisa sit down with me, but she's got to take the daughter to an appointment. So
Monday.
Ooh, Monday.
Maybe.
All right.
Does Dad know when to take out the cake?
Yes, I'm supposed to. So we're baking cakes today, or Alexa is baking cakes today, and they're going to be gone. So when the timer goes off, I have to take them out of the oven. So, all right. So right now it's just Rob on here. So there might be spoilers because at 11 o'clock last night, we finished watching Survivor, which was fantastic. Fucking Marianne. Gotta love her. Yeah. So anyway, so after whatchamacallit, after Survivor, 11 o'clock at night, we have Kenobi. Like I was like, oh, let's just see, is it going to be on? And it was already on. So hold on a second. Hold on. I'm texting Rob. Rob, I'm texting you, by the way. Or are you working? All right. So let's see. I need to move this just a little bit. There we go. All right. So, all right. So spoilers. I'll probably be talking about Kenobi. Let's just say that. We can always start with Strange New Worlds. All right. So Rob, I sent you that link. So whenever you log in, I'll let you in. And I lost an eye in the sky. So people can watch this later. So first let's talk about Survivor, because that aired on Wednesday. And if you've been watching Survivor and you haven't watched it yet, it is what it is. So usually we watch Survivor Thursday night after I get home from the school. And like I'd been saying, I'd kind of been rooting, not from the beginning. Like Marianne was kind of she's just that young, fun, goofball girl. And Rob.
Good morning, everybody. Afternoon on the East Coast.
Yeah. Anyway, so just watching her play has just been amazing. Do you watch Survivor, Rob?
I don't.
No. Okay.
No.
I'm a huge Survivor freak. In fact, I've applied a couple times. I can't play right now because of the school.
Right.
Don't have anybody to fill in to teach if I'm actually selected. So I won't be able to apply for again for probably about a year or so. But Yeah. So last night's episode was the finale was absolutely amazing. This gal, her name's Marianne. She's 23, young and bubbly, and just like as a 50-year-old, kind of annoying. You're just like, oh my God, people can't be that bubbly all the time.
But she proved you wrong.
And she freaking wins.
Nice.
Like she wins. And it was like in the last half of the series, I'm just like, I'm kind of rooting for her. Like it was just one of those where it was just like, she could actually do this because she's like, I'm tired of being the GOAT vote. And when she said that, I was like, no. I was like, you're the GOAT. You're not the GOAT for a vote. You are the GOAT. Right. Oh my gosh. She ended up with like an extra vote, all these different advantages, and an immunity idol. And most people, when they have immunity idols, they tell somebody else. She told nobody. And so at the very last time that you could use it, she had convinced somebody else, per an agreement with another player, he had won immunity. So he gave up his immunity idol that he could only play at that last time to her. Yeah. Nobody knew she had one. So the thing is that she was debating, does she, she'll have her immunity idol. Does she play it for somebody else? But then she's like, but then she didn't play it. And I'm like, she just won the game. Like you just knew she just won the game. And so at the very, very end, where you have the 3 contestants at the end and they're talking to the jury and they're like, yeah, this is my strategy. This is this. She was like, oh yeah. She says, because she made a huge move a couple episodes getting this one big player out, this really big manipulative player. Because if he had made it to the end, he would have won. Right. Like he very strategic. So she totally blindsided him. And then so at the end, she's like, they're like, well, we didn't really, we really didn't get to know you. So, what was your strategy? And so she's like, oh, I got Omar out. And then I had this agreement with this person and this agreement with this person. And at the very end, Mike plays his immunity idol for me. And I could have played my immunity idol for somebody else. But if I brought her to the end, she would have won. And I couldn't win against her. And everyone's kind of like, the whole jury is like, what? And so she pulls out this immunity idol. I was like, she won the game. She like it was like solidifying.
So let me get this straight. Her strategy was basically to be a Romulan.
I guess,
hiding behind the bubbly facade. I mean, that's not really the Romulan thing, but I'm friendly with everybody. I'm making strategies, stuff behind the scenes. I'm keeping my mouth shut. And guess what? I won. Haha.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, it was great. It was a really, the season 41 was kind of the wokey woke show. And we had some woke moments on this season, but it wasn't as bad as the first season or the 41. But yeah, this was kind of getting back to it's a different gameplay than previous Survivor. I would say this is almost like Survivor 4.0. Okay. Just because the game has, evolved over the years, but the spirit of Survivor, I really found coming back in this season. And I'm just like, nice. Oh my God, I want to play so bad. Yeah. So, all right. So, I don't know how much time you have, but
I got plenty of time.
We can quickly talk about Strange New Worlds because you had mentioned, I was hoping, okay, well, I hope it's a good episode. I hope every episode is good, but the one with Una, I was like, it was okay. I mean, it wasn't bad. There was some, it was an okay episode, but I really liked this last episode.
Now you see why I was like, hey, when you watch it, call me.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause, of course it's character driven. So, yes. Now we're kind of, and I love how each episode so far has been character driven Well, I mean, the whole series is character driven. That's just I think that's the way they're writing it now. But they follow a certain character as the main, you know, I guess the main protagonist, you know, of the story. And, but they're not necessarily like the saviors of the day.
No.
Like it's still, in the end, it's still, you know, teamwork and everybody working together. It's just telling their part of the story. So, and of course, this one was I can't remember her first name, but she's the descendant of Khan.
Right. I can't remember her first name either off the top of my head.
Yeah. But of course, it's established in episode 1 where she actually is a survivor of a Gorn attack.
Yes.
And, you know, we saw the Gorn in Arena with Kirk, and even in the digital CGI remakes, they have them blink. Oh my God, that was so horrible.
Yeah. No.
And I think we see the Gorn in Enterprise.
We do.
If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think that was season 3. I think off the top of my head. I could be wrong on that. But we do see it then. And we do obviously we see him in Lower Decks, right? We have the Gorn chef.
Yeah.
So the Gorn are kind of scattered throughout Mythos, but we don't really get deep dives into who the Gorn are, except for they're a big threat. And it's cool to see them as this legitimate, massive threat that they presented themselves as in this episode. I really like that part. Yeah.
I mean, they really, it's just like, I love it when Singh is talking to this one girl, and she's just, maybe she's talking to Una after she talks to the girl. It's just like, we're told, you know, that we should embrace all species, right, and that, you know, we should be friends. She goes, the Gorn, like, monsters do really exist.
Yes.
And
I
it's
love
like,
that line.
Oh my God, that's so cool. Yeah.
Well, it's adding that touch of DS9, that little darkness, into what typically has always been presented kind of as a bright time, right? So we're exploring, everything's being solved, a lot of political, you know, sometimes there's action involved, but for the most part, we're trying to make allies. And this is just a situation where we're boned. It's dark, it's bad, and these are people you can't rationalize, you can't talk to, you just have to destroy them or be destroyed by them. It is a black and white situation. And we get to face that and see how they face it, which I like that, you know, and it's like the character-driven piece. I think what they do different than Discovery, because Discovery kind of gets too dialed in on one or two characters sometimes. Even though this is character-driven, the supporting cast each has a role that in that you also learn more about them or their personality. So we're not getting, they didn't start the opening where she's having a dream sequence of these nightmares of being on the Gorn planet. Turns out there's the Gorn, and now we're doing this, and she's having, you know, flashbacks, all this stuff. They played it in a very unique way where we're seeing all the troubles across the ship, but you know where the focus is. So when the episode's done, everybody in that supporting cast had some character growth. They had some forward momentum, and you're learning more about their history of individual characters, the focus of the day, if you will. You're seeing the Gorn breeding facility. You're seeing why she's so traumatized. You're seeing why she has some of the hatred and the fear, and she gets to confront that. And then you're also seeing the Gorn as a modern day threat. So, you know, I really like the way that they are telling these character stories, which is, in my opinion, different, but goes back to that core process of Trek, where that's really what it's always been about. It's about overcoming. It's about uniting. It's about teamwork. It's about trying to make things better. But as that storytelling has been presenting this season, I've got friends of mine that I didn't even know were Star Trek fans that are messaging me. Like my buddy Dennis messaged me last night. He's like, "Hey, can we talk about Strange New Worlds? I feel like I'm talking to," and this is a quote, "I feel like I'm having a sci-fi AA meeting by admitting, hi, my name is Dennis, and I think Strange New Worlds just became my favorite Trek show." And I told him, I said, "Dude, I'm right there with you." Like this
Yeah.
is, I said I'm always gonna have a place for the original series, always gonna have a place even for the original cartoon, which is horrible. I've watched it again, but it's always there. DS9, TNG, Voyager, all that stuff is right there for me, and I love it. But this is filling in a lot of gaps that we didn't really have filled before, and we're getting it presented in a way that closely mirrors TOS, but also does it in a way that's more of a modern day storytelling made for nerds. I mean, I'm gonna call it what it is. We discover what the Pike maneuver is. It's like we've heard this stuff. That's what I say. There's all these Easter eggs. There's little Easter eggs. Oh, what about the Pike maneuver? That'll never work in this situation. What the hell is that?
Right.
Do the Janeway maneuver. I don't know what that is. Now it's like, head towards the event horizon, create the illumination, blow up something, and then peel off. Okay, right on. That makes sense now. So
now I'm curious how in the next episode are we going to see the Enterprise still a little bit beat up?
I hope so.
I kind of hope so too. Or we could have an episode where maybe they're leaving space dock after being, because like watching Voyager, like one episode they are like the ship's all beat up, and the next episode it's in perfect condition, and you're like, really? Like I don't know.
Time shifted.
Like honestly, like I would expect Voyager to, even though Janeway would be running it like a Starfleet ship, it would look more like the Equinox.
Yeah.
Beat up,
pieced together.
Maybe, maybe they might not have a hole in the hull, but there would be like panels, like it would be patched over,
Didn't they get that briefly, like later on, season 5, season 6, where I can't remember if it was who the hell they were fighting at that time, but they started like piecing together from some derelict ships just to kind of patchwork it together, and that's when they started doing the ablative armor casing and stuff. Wasn't it like something like that? Like maybe it was season 7, like the beginning of season 7 or something. Yeah, like I remember at some point seeing Voyager where it did have that, but for the entire run, it's like, we just had this massive battle. The ship's been adrift. Next episode, hey, we're perfectly good. Everything's happy and done. There's no problems. So I agree. Even if they did something out of space dock for Strange New Worlds, I'd be okay with that because it just shows that shift of time. Like, okay, we made it. We got repairs. It was a close one. Now we got a new insert whatever. Well,
and the star dates, obviously they have not like. And maybe the plan, this is the story I'm telling myself. Maybe the plan is that they're just going to use the star dates like it was originally designed to be, just random. And in fact, in the, I think I was talking to you, I was talking to somebody else, or maybe I was just talking into the ether. I actually found the page in the Making of Star Trek, my little Star Trek book. Mm-hmm. Where they actually talk about it. Where
you and I were talking about that actually, because I had asked you about it. I think it was the first season. I was asking about the star dates. Like, did it come from a Vulcan? Were they the ones that introduced it? Like, how did that work? And then you found that in the book for me.
Yeah, so I looked it up. I finally just sat down and I just kind of flipped through. Oh, hold on. Cake is ready.
You're good.
Potentially.
Yeah, because he doesn't want to burn that cake. Lisa will kill him. Moment of dead silence here. If you guys have not watched Strange New Worlds, definitely recommend it. It's phenomenal.
Well, actually, Okay, so they are very much not ready. Oh my gosh. Okay. So we have one person watching. Say hi if you can. We were just talking about Strange New Worlds. Slowly going to get into Kenobi. Oh, 2 eyes in the sky. Yay.
So I want to say this about the Gorn. I love the fact that we've now identified how they communicate, right? So before it's always been this guttural or clicking, and now we know that they communicate through Morse code, which I thought that was really cool and unique. It was like, oh, there's light pattern. Okay, well, we've seen light pattern. Discovery did it with the alien race. I can't remember what they call them now, but the subspecies race. But now it's like, oh, wait, the Gorn, it's all Morse code, and her Sung's friend figured it out and has the
right.
dash,
I think that was her brother
in the book, which I thought that was really cool. Little things like that always fire up my curiosity of, oh, well, now I kind of want to go back and watch the light and look at it from the standpoint of, okay, I know it's dashes and dots, so can I see what in that one scene where they're kind of doing the light back and forth? Can I figure out what's a dash, what's a dot, and then see if I can translate it using the book he put out?
Yeah.
Or is it just standard Morse code, and it's something like "Eat at Joe's" or something stupid, or is it actually something like legitimate where they're like, find the humans, destroy them? Is there a message in there? Someone's probably going to translate it somewhere, but I might play at that this weekend. I don't know.
Yeah. See, that's why when it comes to Star Wars, somebody they already figure out what all the they decode all the galactic
the standard and galactic. Yep.
Yeah. So okay, so Kenobi.
Okay, hold on, I'm gonna go grab my coffee.
Okay,
because I'm drinking out of my Mos Eisley Java cup. Excuse me.
Okay, so if let's see. Oh. All right. So for those of you watching off hours, we're going to start talking about Kenobi. So please watch Kenobi before you get into this, because there's going to be some major spoilers.
So there's my Star Wars Celebration.
Oh,
Cup O Jawa Utini to the last drop.
That's awesome.
The other side with the sand people and the Jawas and the Gronk and
okay, cool.
2 units.
So I'm okay. So I had messaged you earlier, and I like it. I do agree. I'm glad that they dropped 2 episodes at once, because the first episode kind of left you like, I want more, because is it going in the direction I think it's going,
right?
Or, and to be able to get to like have a really good conclusion to the second episode,
right,
was great.
Yeah,
and it totally makes sense, because I've been trying to think. Okay, well, Kenobi is on Tatooine. What would get him off of Tatooine onto another planet and risk him putting himself out there? He's supposed to be protecting Luke. Well, duh. It's Leia. And I know this is getting into season 2 or series 2 or episode 2, but
it's really one episode. I mean, let's call it what it is.
Yeah.
Because if you do, like we were talking about earlier, if you do just do episode 1, I didn't realize they dropped 2. I'm not gonna lie. So I finished the first episode and I was like, okay, I kind of see. Oh, episode 2. Holy shit. Okay, play. And at the end, I'm like, okay, this is literally just one episode. They just had to, for time constraints of the limited run, split it up. I got it. Thank you for dropping both, because it is one cohesive story. Not that the whole thing won't be, but the first episode really lacked a lot. It was a lot of setup and not a lot of follow through. But the second episode was the follow through, which I'm glad they did that.
Yeah. The thing that I liked the clone.
Yes.
asking for money. And I'm curious though, was that because he had blue markings on his armor. So was that one of Anakin's guys?
So with the blue markings, damn, it just scrambled in my head. I think he would have been 501st. But I know that he resembled Cody, Commander Cody as well. I know Cody had yellow, but obviously they're all clones. They all kind of look alike. But there was that recognition, right? So it's possible because if you follow what's not canon anymore, some is because of the cartoons, but what's not canon anymore is the way that the clones identified themselves, what happened to them after Order 66, where they were basically just abandoned or killed, sent off. We don't care about you anymore. We have the new generation clones, which were not as good, and then they had the inscription. Inscription is part of canon now because of Clone Wars, but damn, they talked about it in one of the movies too. I can't think which one, but we've got inscription. We know they're going out. They're taking all these high-ranking kids, putting them in the military. Yeah, they'll be fine. They'll figure it out. I want to see, particularly that character, play a role somewhere else. I hope clones come into it at some point because a lot of them did join the rebellion. We see that in the cartoons. We see that now it's been identified later on in even Return of the Jedi. You do have a couple of the clones, some of the older rebels were clones, which is cool that they made that canon. So I'm pretty confident that character is someone of regard or will come and be involved somewhere later on. They're not going to throw an Easter egg like that out and then just walk away. But it does show that they were abandoned. They were kicked to the side because we have stormtroopers. We don't need clone troopers.
Good morning, Thomas. We are talking kenobi, just to let you know. So I loved when they were trying to escape to a ship, and of course Leia has her hair wrapped like this, and he puts a green jacket on her, and I was like, oh my god, that was so awesome.
And the gloves,
yes.
So her costume is reminiscent of what she will wear in Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, I was just like that. I was just like, so I was very. That was a great little Easter egg.
Well, and they did it when in the first scene where you see her getting dressed, the purple and white does resemble I think it was Empire. She was wearing something very similar.
On Cloud City. Hold on.
Yep, that was it. So you do have that a lot of throwbacks to kind of why she dresses and the colors and the styles that she does, the hairstyle. So there was a lot of little Easter eggs in this. I'm going to have to go back and watch this at least 2 more times to pull out all the little Easter eggs. But the fact that the actress they cast to play Leia played her as a child absolutely perfect. I mean, you've got Carrie Snark, you've got the attitude, you've got, everything. Some of the mannerisms, you see where she's going to become who she is in the films. I absolutely love that.
My daughter's going to freak out. These cakes are not turning out how she wants them. The small one my grandson's birthday is, we're having the party today. We're actually having it at the school. So she's making a cake. She's making a cake for him and then a bigger cake. So it's still kind of squishy, like it's shaky, but it's not. And I put the little stick in, it's coming out clean.
Yeah.
I took out the small one, but the big one is actually, it is overgrown and it is dripping onto the bottom of the stove. So oops. I had to put a pan in there. I don't know how. Yeah. she is not going to be happy at all.
I make a lot of things. I cook a lot. I avoid baking because of exactly that. Like I'll make cookies, right? I'll do cookies, but other than that, so I applaud her for doing this regardless, because the simplest of changes, whether it's temperature or altitude, the particular brand of some of the yeast or whatever you buy can make a big difference. And I don't mess with desserts. So I applaud her for.
Yeah, she makes it all. She makes everything from scratch. She's a great baker.
That's awesome.
But it's I don't think she's So the Inquisitor, the Grand Inquisitor.
Yes.
There was a big blow up of he doesn't look like he does in the comics. He doesn't look like he does in the comics or in the cartoon. And it's like, okay, well, maybe just because, the actor, there was that big blow up all over the internet. And well, they kill him off.
And now everyone's mad about that. And which I agree to. Like, so when the controversy of how he looks came out, I was like, look, I had this conversation with my Star Wars buddies. So I was like, listen, end of the day, when you're taking anybody from a cartoon to live action, it's never going to work 100%. Just have faith in the process. I think he looked really good. I think he looked imposing. I think he was as close as you can get to the live action, or from cartoon to live action as you can really do, right? Without making it really weird. He had the ridges along his head. He had the right tattoos. He had the right costume. The second brother looked dead on the money, how he should have. Was he as tall as he is in the comics or in the cartoon? No. Is he as bulky? No. But he's the same style. He's that same imposing, powerful figure. So you have to understand that it's never going to be perfect, but it's going to be pretty damn close. And this was pretty damn close. And then they kill him, which
I think, again, story I'm telling myself is that they kill him. Of course, there's got to be a new Grand Inquisitor.
Yep.
Okay. And it might just come from the same race.
Yeah, it probably will. But if he's dead, right?
True.
Never saw his dead body. She assumed it killed him. But just like with Darth Maul, when we learned from the cartoons, here's Darth Maul gets sliced in half and thrown down a shaft. And then turns out he lands in junk, and the dark side was so strong in him, it pulled all of the junk to cauterize his wounds and build this spider-like body. And his mind was so fractured, and then he gets it back, and then they recraft his legs using force magic, and now he's got these mechanical legs, and he becomes this uber badass, and then falls again and becomes a criminal, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I've seen a lot of people have stomach wounds, right? Even in Mandalorian, Book of Boba Fett, right? People get shot in the stomach and they survive and they're assumed to be dead. So I'd kind of like to see that, right? I'd kind of like to see she kills or thinks she's killed him. She thinks she's won. She thinks I've got him. And he comes back and
it could be that his race, and maybe he uses force healing on himself, or his race is just automatically like that. So, but
anything's possible.
But the only character I really don't like is the third sister.
Yeah, I can't stand her.
And now, it's just is she? Because I'm trying to think, was she written so we don't like her? Because honestly, like you said in your message to me, she's like that stereotypical angry black woman.
Yeah, and that's what really bothered me. I understand being angry. I understand being dark side. I understand being forceful. Like, I get some of the character traits. Unfortunately, between casting, the way it was written, and the way she played it, there was just a lot of things that didn't make sense to me. And the level of vitriol and how stereotypical it was, because that's the first. I mean, I watched it and I sat there sipping my coffee this morning and I went, she's just an angry black woman. It's not like we have no reason why she's after him. Maybe she's one of the younglings we see in the beginning of episode 1. Maybe she blames Obi-Wan for abandoning them. Maybe there is a reason. Like there seems to be a reason it's alluded to.
Right.
But right now, we talk
only
about
motivation.
Luke, right?
The only motivation that that has been established is that Anakin is looking for and here's the thing, she knows that he's Anakin.
Which that was weird.
Yeah.
That I want to look into that a little because I know that basically the Inquisitors are, for lack of better terminology, I mean they're Jedi hunters, but they are in a lot of ways they are the apprentices without being an apprentice of Vader. They're Force sensitive people that Vader twists and turns, so is the Emperor, into his will, but they answer directly to Vader. But why would they know, oh, he's Anakin Skywalker? Or at least she know, oh, he's Anakin Skywalker.
Right.
That's kind of what led me to believe that it is possible she was one of the younglings, heard him called Lord Vader as Anakin. So when she's introduced to Darth Vader, also called Lord Vader, she put two and two together and went, Anakin Skywalker's not dead. He's just this armored badass.
Right. And it was established when, and this is stuff we already knew, but saying it out loud, Obi-Wan tells Leia that the Inquisitors are fallen Jedi.
Right. Some. Yeah. And that's kind of why I'm like, I mean, they're laying the crumbs, so maybe, and really from a directorial standpoint, because Star Wars has such a unique visual. Bryce Dallas Howard, with all the stuff that she's done on Mandalorian and Book of Boba Fett, right now, aside from George Lucas, is probably my favorite director, because she can capture the vista of each planet and give it its own feel and look, and establish through the way that she shoots things that it's different. She shoots in a different style depending on the planet she's at. Deborah Chow did a great job. The only question I have is, why did we need a 30-minute parkour scene that literally went nowhere? That's,
Brandon Lee did a better one in The Crow.
Yeah, well,
that was almost like a throw crow back.
Yeah. So I will say, so I think you may know this, may not. People watch this, probably no idea. So I am one of the co-founders of one of the first professional parkour teams in the United States, Renze Parkour. So anytime there's parkour, I get super excited because there's a lot of really good practitioners out there that do some great stuff, a lot of them in stunts. And the fact that they have a scene or a set, because that's really what it is, right? You have a set you built up into a soundstage that really could be designed to allow someone to have the freedom of running, jumping, doing everything they want to do, making it look epic. They had to do wire work on this. And so the movements, from my standpoint, right, as a former traceur, parkourist, or whatever you want to call us, free runner, it didn't have the right flow. And it just seemed pointless, because by the time Obi-Wan's gone, right, we've moved on from the ambush. We're other places, which the ambush is a question in and of itself. How did that happen? But we've moved on. He's blocks away, and here she still is, and just jumping over stuff. I don't need to know how she got where she got. You implied it with one or two shots. Cool. She's running. She's chasing him down. And then she still doesn't end up where we think she's going. Right. She ends up on the complete opposite end. It's just little things like that. It's pet peeve. What was the purpose? What was the deleted scene? That's always my thought, right? What was cut that got us there? Did she go to the ambush spot, look around, he's not there, see a general direction he went, then she ran that way? Did we cut that one scene of establishment to have the cool looking stuff of her bouncing off walls and jumping over objects and showing that she's really using that Jedi speed, or the force speed and force jump, and it was kind of pointless. And again, I don't find her imposing. It's nothing against even the character. You're being violent for violence sake, and I think what kind of lost me with that from the get-go was how violent she started off being in the cantina. And like, okay, cool, it's implied. And I like the moment that the Grand Inquisitor stops the lightsaber from slicing the Jedi in half. burns him. I'm like, okay, so we see that he's not trying to kill them all. He's trying to capture them intelligently to say, you're going to help me find your friends. I'm going to use you as a pawn to bring out other Jedi who are going to try and come save you. And now I can get all of you. She's too filled with hate to worry about it. So when later on, if you don't help us, we're going to cut off a hand. And someone says, we're not, we don't know anything. Cuts his. It's like, well, why? Yeah. And nobody really stopped her. Nobody really cared.
Hold that thought.
Go for it. Snark, you've got.
They're right here. All right. Okay. Out of the oven. We don't have to worry about it.
Nice. So, but yeah, it just, I don't know. I think the character as a whole, I may like her by the end, which is kind of what I'm telling myself right now, is she's going to either have a redemptive story. She's going to be less of a protagonist. She'll become a gray area. She might leave the Inquisitors because she's not the same race. And they kind of address that too, right? Like, you're not one of us.
Right.
You just filled with intrigue and this and that and the other thing. Could we get her? Could she become, and I'm pulling from the comic books and the books here, could she become part of what later becomes known as the Emperor's Hand, which was his assassination force? Like there's some possibilities with the character. Right now, I really think it's a waste of space.
Yeah.
I think she knows more than she's supposed to. I think she's very stereotypical. And it's this is that moment where I wish someone was a little bit more woke in writing the character and go, hey, she's just an angry black woman. That's not a good optic. How do we give her a little more oomph? Right.
Yeah,
and that may change, but right now that's all it is. And that's unfortunate for an actress that's very talented, a character that has a lot of potential. But right now, I couldn't care less.
Yeah, I'm kind of hoping that they do, like, we get more.
I think we will, but
and in a way, I kind of hope that of course they're toying with this. There's going to be a Darth Vader and Obi-Wan Kenobi fight at the end.
Yep.
But I hope that she bites it, like Obi-Wan takes her on. Or they give her more purpose behind her rage, and happens to be, one of the things that you brought up. Either she leaves, she, turns to the good side, or whatever,
Right. And
so
I think there's, how do I want to phrase this? I think there's I still think there's a lot of potential behind her character. I may not like her right now. I don't like the portrayal. I don't like the writing behind it, but there's probably going to be a reason for it. Because most of the time, Boba Fett being an exception, most of the time they want to tell an overarching story, not just for one person, right?
Right.
So what I did really like is the fact that we have mirrored what I consider to be one of the biggest character assassinations in Star Wars, which is the Hermit Luke. We're mirroring that in a lot of ways with Obi-Wan, who's lost hope and faith. He has one single mission. That's the only thing that could bring back something, but he's broken. He's lost. He's got a day job. He doesn't want to help anybody. He's just like, not my problem. And that loss that he's going through does mirror the loss that Luke goes through in the last trilogy. The difference is it gives it more meaning than Luke had, where, I made a mistake and now I'm running away from everything.
So that was something I think you and I had talked about, is that, we're going to see this fallen Jedi. He's going to be kind of this, in this fog, depressed, he's depressed. But I already I like the way that they're doing Obi-Wan, over the way that they did Luke.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
I mean, because, I totally get it. Like, he thought he killed his brother, his friend and brother. He saw all these other people die. He's failure as an instructor and all of these things.
Yep.
And so, I'd be pretty depressed myself and I'd want to get away from it. And even when Bail comes to him and says, look, it's my daughter. She's just as important as Luke. You need to do this.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, fine. He does it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And okay, Luna. I still like the fact that even at the end of the first episode, he's still struggling with that piece. He's standing there at the spaceport looking at his ticket and random lady, are you coming or not?
Yeah.
Okay. It's so you see that struggle that he's going through of, I am literally abandoning one mission, the last mission I was given, to potentially expose myself, expose the remains of the Jedi Order, to expose the hope that we have in the twins of prophecy, to go save another twin of prophecy. And I like the way that they are doing that. I would honestly, and I've talked about this with a couple Star Wars friends of mine, I would love to see a Luke version of this. I think Mark Hamill could do it if we shot it within the next few years, where you kind of see post Kylo, when he raises his sword to Kylo and he wakes up and the Jedi Temple's been destroyed, to see what forced him out there. Because you can't tell me you had one bad day and you're like, fucking him out. It doesn't make sense for the character, who, especially from all the comics, all the mythos, everything, was going to become and does become the most powerful Jedi since the original Jedi Order. And you see his power, right, with Luke, force projecting from one end of the galaxy to the other. But is a waste of a character because somebody didn't know how to write him, Ryan Johnson, and didn't care and didn't read the scripts and doesn't really care about the lore. But neither here nor there. That's my gripe. But I like the fact that with Obi-Wan, to go back to the point, they are giving everything a reason, a purpose. He is the outsider. I love the fact that he's sitting there watching Luke through his binoculars, trades to get the T-17 ship, which you see Luke using later on in the movies. He's in Star Wars and he's in the den. He's just kind of flying around. Holy shit. He got that from Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan left it for him. And Uncle Ben got pissed off and threw it at him, but he still gets it back somehow. So I like that you're seeing the child actors, which I think is equally as important as Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan. I think it's equally as important to establish them. Like I said, when you were getting the cake earlier, the girl they cast for Leia, that's perfect. Yeah. The way they've written it, the way they've cast it, the way they're doing it. She is rebellious. She is adventurous. She is too smart. She is too snarky. It literally, it's like watching a little Carrie Fisher on screen going, everyone was freaking out about little Luke. Nobody talked about this. Holy shit, this girl is amazing. Yeah. So I really like what they're doing. I like what it could be. We might have a different conversation when it's over. Book of Boba Fett is kind of that way with me. I like it, but it's Mandalorian season 2.5. So is Obi-Wan going to become that? I hope not, because they're putting a lot more money into this. Top name actors and stuff that they have. But even the fact that Hayden Christensen came out after filming his rap and he's like, yeah, I'm all about donning the suit again. I'm all about being Vader again. I am all in. Give me a Vader series. Give me something. I'll do it. You just call me. I'm in. Yeah. That gives me a lot of hope. And the fact that the last scene we see, there's Obi-Wan freaking out, right? Hyperventilating. Let me back up. The fact that he's in fights, hits a guy and goes, ah, it's like,
oh, I do want to mention one thing. Thomas has been doing some comments, but
I can't see.
I really like if you don't love Star Wars, you shouldn't be a writer, especially for Star Wars.
I here's the thing. I will both agree and disagree. I think as a writer, I like people that come in. Karen Travis is a great example, right? She did a bunch of the books around the history of the 501st through before Order 66 and through Order 66. That are phenomenal. I mean, they're not canon anymore, but they Dave Filoni pulled a lot of that in for Mandalorian, for some of the cultural elements. He pulled a lot of that in for the cartoons and stuff. She was not a Star Wars person. She became a Star Wars person. So I think if you're a writer,
but I think that's like bringing Star Trek into it.
Yeah.
Okay. So you have was it Brandon Braga? So Brandon Braga, who in the beginning, I couldn't stand him because like he wrote some of the worst shit ever. And he would try and do Star Trek, but it's like, have you watched the show? Like, have you done, like, not as a fan, but as a writer, have you educated yourself on the universe? And so, you know, you have to, whether you like, so maybe if you don't love Star Wars or even you don't love Star Trek, you don't have to love it, but you have to understand the universe.
That was the point I was going to make was, that's where, I don't care if you love it or not. You need to understand it. So like Deborah Chow is the director of Obi-Wan. She is a huge fan. And she even said that when she got into it and got, hey, I'm directing, I'm doing the base storylines and stuff with the guys from Lucasfilm. She re-immersed herself back into it, even as a fan. Right. So I think that this is the difference between a J.J. Abrams and a Rian Johnson, using this last trilogy as an example. J.J. is a fan and did an okay job. And I understand why he was trying to do what he did. Created a story outline for episodes 2, episodes 3, so people would follow it. Then you have a Rian Johnson whose ego was larger than the Death Star and came in and went, I don't need to read it. I don't care about it. What's the last scene? Oh, she finds Luke. Cool. Luke ain't what you think he is. This is my Star Wars now. And so he crafted, and is openly admitted, didn't watch the first movie, didn't read the script, didn't care, saw kind of what we're doing, did my own thing anyway. That's where I would say you have to let go and understand that this is something that is bigger than you because of the mythos, Star Trek, Star Wars, Babylon 5, all these sci-fi shows that have been around, that have life of their own, have books and comics and all this other stuff. You still need to pay homage. That's why Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni have done such a great job when it comes to the Star Wars TV, is because I feel, and nothing's confirmed, but when you see all these interviews with the writers and directors and everything else, they're being told what to read. Hey, before you start doing this, go back and read this, go back and watch this, go back and see this. They're kind of given homework and prep. So, but I agree with Thomas in the standpoint of you need to love. First of all, you need to love what you do. It shouldn't just be a paycheck. You should love the fact that there's something pre-created, but you should be respectful of it. And you should at least do some homework on it, change it, tweak it, whatever you need to do. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
But you need to have some kind of respect. And unfortunately, we've experienced in Star Wars, we've experienced in Star Trek. People come in, they just don't care. And sometimes later on, Brandon Braga is a great example. Oh shit, okay, fixes it.
Right.
But then you've got others that they're there for a paycheck and say, I did Star Trek, I did this, I did that, and it's not as impactful. So like I said, I agree and disagree with both of it. I mean, I get some people that don't love it can do a really good job with it, but you have to have respect for it, I think is probably the way I would phrase it. Yeah. And Thomas, if you're responding, dude, I am so sorry. I can't see any chat here.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I've been seeing stuff come up. So he mentioned something about Firefly, I think about, but I don't, didn't Joss Whedon, he wrote the movie though.
Yeah. So Joss Whedon,
created the series.
And some guys did the comics. It was not Joss Whedon. I think he did some of it, but not all of it.
See, I haven't read any of the comics. So.
I've got like 2 or 3. But that was back when I was spending like $200 a week on comics, and I just,
yeah.
It wasn't Marvel, DC, or Hellboy. I didn't really dive into it. I should have, but I didn't.
Yeah, there was something else that I wanted to point out. Let's see. Shoot. Yeah, I lost it. I do before I do forget though, going back to Strange New Worlds really quick. I thought it was pretty cool how they introduced almost a Starfleet Memorial Day.
Yes.
And how was the episode aired this week on purpose?
I'd like to think
so.
The way that they're shooting these and showing these, much like the original series, in a lot of ways it can be played out of order and not be negatively impacting something else. So I would like to think that was a conscious decision, because it was a cool conscious decision. You know, where you've got guys that have PTSD from their tours. They don't want to think about it, talk about it, remember it. Sometimes they change later on and they go, yeah, okay, I get it, right? And I like that, because it shows that character, she accepted her trauma, right? That's what I like about it. She accepted her trauma and wears that now with pride to remember the fallen. And I really dug that. And the fact that it coincides this weekend, kudos to, if it was accidental or purposeful, kudos for them for doing it the way they did.
Yeah. So, Kenobi. That's one thing I wanted to bring up. So, I like at the very, very beginning where they're doing a form. I don't know if
they're like Tai Chi form.
It was almost like a Tai Chi form, and not a saber form, but an empty hand form. And then some of the coolest Aikido I've seen. Obi-Wan. Oh my God. That was because you see, I saw a glimpse of it. You see a glimpse of it in the trailers, and it's like, ooh, we get to see him go empty hand. That's awesome.
Right.
But that was really well performed.
Yes, it was. I give mad props to the fight choreographer. I did not get a chance to see who it was.
Yeah.
But they did a great job. First of all, you're shooting something in a hallway. And the fact that most TV shows, most movies would not put your hero, just from a visual standpoint, in between two characters, because you're going to want to get a 45-degree angle to sell a hit.
Yeah.
They put him in between two characters because in my head, I'm like, what are they doing? If it was me, okay, because now I can hit this guy, then hit this guy on the backswing. But that's what he did. Holy crap! Bam, 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 bam. Oh, ooh, ooh,
yeah.
Ooh, ooh. It was a realistic, very, very visceral, which is as I'm thinking about it now, is a takeaway, right? It shows kind of he's not the space samurai.
Mm-hmm.
He's not all about his lightsaber, which is on his hip. He's using a blaster. He's using his fists. So you see he's kind of walked away from that for now, or in total. But you're also seeing the additional training that they were given that we don't really talk about. Why wouldn't they? How do they learn the mind trick? How do they learn to move stuff? Well, if you watch that empty hand form and you look at it, right, just like we break down kata, I was breaking it down, watching it going, force push, force pull. Force this. I'm like, this is just like Tai Chi, and oh my god, they're redirecting the force and they're doing this. Brilliant. And I love that. I love the fight set. And there's something I was going to say when we were talking about that, and I blanked on it now too. Oh, we got to talk about one of the great cameos, at least in Star Wars TV for a long time.
Okay.
Flea from Red Hot Chili Peppers playing the pirate.
Yes.
He did a great job.
I was like, oh my gosh. Because at first I was like, I recognize him. Who the hell is that? Yep. And I was like, holy shit. Yeah, that was that was pretty cool.
I dug it. And I feel like if I go back and rewatch her chase scene through the woods, something tells me, and it's just my gut right now, but brain's still working in the background. Something tells me that's going to be her movements probably very similar to the chase on Return of the Jedi on the speeder bikes. Because she slides under the bridge, guy hits it. Why? Or not the bridge, the log. Mm-hmm. You'd see the log. Why did you hit it? Well, And Return of the Jedi, speeder bike's going too fast, bam, slams into it. Another chick gets hit by the branch, which is in plain sight.
Yeah.
But in Return of the Jedi, same thing happens. It gets hit with the branch, speeder bike goes off, bike keeps going. So something tells me if we watch it again,
that would be really
it probably
smart.
does a mimic of it.
Yeah.
So
because she is running through the forest. Oh,
I
did get that vibe, but not the correlation of does it foreshadow future events. Okay.
I'll message you this weekend after watching it again and go, guess what? I side by side it. I had one on my laptop and one on the, I'm watching it frame by frame. Yeah, it does. Or somebody will have an article here probably within the next hour or two. It's like, oh, did you catch the fact that the chase scene actually mimicked the? Okay, cool. But I just those moments alone that gave me pause in it because I'm like, why would they? It's right there. Okay,
yeah, because
it's this. So.
Because the chase scene, Lisa was like, well, that's kind of corny. Why did because there were so many times where they could have gotten her.
Yep.
But it would make sense that they would choreograph it that way based on Return of the the Endor scene.
It's an Easter egg for the super fans.
Yeah. Okay.
So good job, Deborah Cho. If that's what you did.
Yeah.
Or Deborah Chow, excuse me, Deborah Chow.
Yeah, Deborah Chow.
Good job.
Yeah. Yeah, I only watched it once, didn't take any notes. So this is all from memory.
That's me too. You're good. I just watched it a couple hours before you came on. I was like, I slept in this morning. I don't know. Well, my son was up a lot last night. So
okay.
All of a sudden I'm like, oh God, it's 8:00. I gotta get up and start doing emails. Oh God, Obi-Wan's on. Emails first, then Obi-Wan. So I finished at about 11:00 and was like, I know we're gonna talk about it. I didn't take notes. I didn't do any of that stuff. Yeah. And then here I am talking about it. I'm like, it's all from memory. So I'll go back and rewatch it and take notes.
Yeah. No, I think overall, it's good.
Yeah.
Some potential cameos that we could be looking forward to because it is, Skillo. Hi. Hello from Japan. Well, hello from America. Thank you for tuning in. We're just talking about Kenobi, so I don't know if you've seen it. We're actually kind of coming to the end of our discussion because I've been out of tea for a while, but we're having a great talk.
Right there with you.
What was I going to say? Potential cameos. So it established it is 10 years.
Yep.
After whatchamacallit. Solo happened 10 years before A New Hope.
Yep.
So we have this 1 year gap because Luke was 19?
19.
Yeah. So we have this 1 year gap. So potentially we could see Han Solo.
We could.
On Tatooine.
Or Lando.
We could potentially see Lando. We could potentially have a cameo from Ray Park.
Could. I hope we do.
Okay. I didn't watch Star Wars in my life. That's okay. I'm not going to hold it against you. But when you watch it, you want to watch episode 4, episode 5, episode 2, episode 3, and episode 6. Watch those first. And then watch Rogue One.
Yep. And
then watch Solo, or maybe Phantom Menace. But basically, you watch the 5 and Solo, and you're pretty much good from there.
Yep.
And then pick up any of the series. But I would watch watch the movies before you watch any of the TV shows because you'll be asking questions. So, what does Thomas say? You are both awesome, crazy Star Trek guys.
Thanks, Thomas.
Yeah. So you'll get to hopefully you'll get so Thomas. Thomas, I'm sure you've seen Thomas on my Cusho Corner
Yeah.
episodes, but he has a fucked up knee. So hopefully he will make it to the seminar and just sit
Hope so.
all day. So, and he'll probably be at the party. So you'll get to meet him when you're out here. So
Nice. Looking forward to that.
So potential Darth Maul, potential Han Solo, potential who is it that we said before? Lando.
We have potential. Honestly, we got a lot of potential, right? So you've got potential for Palpatine. We've got potential for some of the core clones. We've got potential for Jabba. We have potential for Dengar, one of the bounty hunters. Actually, we got potential for all the bounty hunters.
Okay. So hold on. So Thomas mentions C-3PO.
Yep.
I think we already saw him.
Yeah. So
we saw him in the background.
Yes. Yeah. I think he was talking to the other aliens. I thought that was C-3PO because he was golden. So I thought that was him. I will say I like the fact that every time Obi-Wan comes to his cave, there's R2's antenna.
Yeah.
That pops up. That's R2's antenna. You see the blue on top. He's buried R2. I'm willing to bet that's who it is.
So, and that was another thing that I was thinking. Is that R2-D2? Or is that just a... because he says, of course it could have been a lie because, when he's telling Luke, everything is from a certain point of view. But he says, I don't ever remember owning a droid. So did they split up R2-D2 and C-3PO? I mean, is that actually R2 buried in the sand?
Yeah, I think they did, if I remember correctly. I think I'd have to go back and look. If I remember correctly, they did. If I remember correctly, when they split them all up, they Obi-Wan took Luke. The Organa family took Leia. I believe the droids kind of went as secondary eyes, if you will. But it would also make sense, right, from the standpoint if that is R2. He basically just buried the guy. You're my security system. That's all you are. I don't care about you. I don't want to look at you. I don't want to think about you. I'm burying the past. There's that. And so I don't remember ever owning a droid. Well, you didn't really own him. You buried his ass. And then your Jawa buddy dug him up one day when you didn't show up for some reason and took him. Or you gave him the Organas or something, right? Where
and that actually could have been that could be where you kind of have, towards the end of the story where Obi-Wan is like, okay, I'm out of my depression. I have, my purpose is more driven. I'm going to be hidden, but more out in the open.
Right.
Because he's not wearing his Jedi garb.
No.
But when we meet him, he's wearing his Jedi garb. And it's kind of funny because initially that wasn't supposed to be Jedi garb, but it ended up being that way. But he's always carrying his lightsaber on him. He eventually moves into a hut. So he takes all that stuff out of the, that he buried in the sand.
Yeah.
So maybe because he doesn't want to have to deal with a droid, maybe he does give him to the Organas. Well, and then
if you think about it from the same standpoint you're going, right? And he says, okay, I'm going to give up. My brain's going too fast. Sorry. Yeah. I am shedding this false persona that I created, which is my depression and my feeling of loss. And I have to give it all away because that's the Jedi Order, right? I'm giving up all my possessions. I'm giving up all these parts and pieces of who I was. And I'm going back to being this monk, crazy Ben in the desert, old Ben. Who's to say he wouldn't have said to Bail Organa, hey, come get this thing. Have some moment where he's like, listen, I know what my purpose is now. And I have to stay on this planet, but I want to give you this. This will also help protect Leia. So now she has her personal guard. She has C-3PO. She has R2-D2. They're reunited. I think the memories were wiped, so they don't really remember everything.
Well, The only wipe is C-3PO.
Correct.
I don't think that they ever wipe R2.
But that also then creates that understanding of why when they land in the pod on Tatooine, R2's like, we're going this way. What do you mean that civilization is this way? Why are you going that way? Oh, you old rust bucket. It's like, he knows where he's, dude, I live here. It's like, I know where I'm going. Shut the hell up and follow me.
So that makes total sense. Mm-hmm. So I am hoping that is I just figured it might have just been a droid that he's using for his security system.
I'm pretty sure that was R2. Like I said, from watching it, I flipped out because the blue on top, it's the same color blue they use for R2. It could be something very simple, but for me, I'm like, and I could be wrong. I hope I'm not, but I could be.
So potential for a lot of cameos. I hope that they don't just throw them in there as like a Wesley cameo. I hope that there's purpose behind and even like the cameo of Tamara Morrison as the clone, like that was well done.
Yes.
It didn't have to be big and drawn out and you see
the tear in his face.
Here's my sales pitch. It's there you go. So even seeing Han Solo in the background at a bar would be that is the type of cameo I'm looking for.
Or even if it's not the same actor that they got for Solo, even if they just have someone in the dress standing at a bar, back turned, and you see Chewbacca walk in the scene and walk up to him, and you hear that Harrison Ford, all right, come on, furball, or fuzzball, they calls him, something, and you see them walk off. Fans are going to freak out over that and be like, "Oh my God, this is the Kessel Run," or "Oh my God, this is this," or "Oh my God, this is that." Yeah. You can do a lot of implication because of where we're at and the fact that we're seeing Tatooine the way we're seeing it.
Right.
But I'm also glad we're not only seeing Tatooine. That was also one of my fears going into this, is another limited series only on Tatooine.
Yeah.
Okay. But we're also understanding why it's important. It's a place in the Outer Rim. It's a place that's lawless. It's a place that they can actually hide for the most part. And I like that. I like that.
Yeah. All right, Rob.
I think my lunch break is well over. Thankfully, I'm my own boss, if you will. So I'll get back to my emails and data. But I always love being able to come on and talk with you. I mean, we talk regularly anyway, but thank you for letting me come on and talk about this. Super excited to see you next week. Super excited to give you your gift, man. I'm like so hyped. Yeah. I showed it to a couple of friends of mine. I'm like, what do you think? Oh my God. So there's my vague hypeness for it. But no, I think we're gonna have a great time next week, whether it's just the instructors, like you said before, if it's 100 people, if it's 10 people, if it's just us. I
got one person officially paid and registered. Yay.
But it's like all seminars, right? And we both know this. Martial artists are some of the laziest when it comes to pre-register. It's like,
Danny, my first seminar I ever promoted, and he's like, "Oh, how many you guys you got?" And I'm like, "Nobody." And it's like a week, and I've already shelled out a bunch of money. And he's like, Mish, says karate guys are some of the laziest people on the planet.
Dude, Jack, you say that all the time. Every time I have a camp, he's like, he called me up. Hey man, what's going on? How you doing? How's the seminar shaping up? Same conversation. Oh, dude, I don't know if anyone's going to show up. I'll have like 2 of my guys. That's it. Just wait. They'll show up. Yeah. If you have it, they will come. Is what he told me one time. I was like, what are we, Field of Dreams here? He's like, no, they just lazy, man. Same thing with camp. Like Dave and I have talked about this for years. I'll ask him a couple weeks before camp, oh, how many do we have? They're going to show up, man. I don't even count anymore. I just wait till we get to the door because they just show up. I talk about it, tell them blue in the face, then they just show up. So
yeah. Well, I actually worked on this tonight. Let's see if I can bring this up.
Hey,
there we go. So upcoming seminars and events. I actually have it written down so I can actually go through it. And this is not just for me, but I've got other people on there. So, of course, tomorrow we have the Rory Miller Training Lab at 10. And I actually got a text from somebody who was there last month, but can't make it this month, but wants to try and make it in June. So
nice.
Don't actually have a day for that yet. I'm going to talk to Rory about that. Friends in the Art Experience, June 4th. Opens, or well, doors will probably open earlier, but registration starts at 8:30. First session starts at 9. On June 18th, I'm doing a Father's Day weapons defense and retention workshop. Starts at noon. 24th, I'm going to take the summer. Every other Friday, we're going to have a movie night.
Nice.
So I don't have a time on there. I haven't figured out that yet, but I figured the first one would be the original Karate Kid. July 9th. Huh?
You got to throw in some like 36 Chambers of Shaolin or something in there as well. Some classic.
Well, I've got all these different movies, like Shaolin Soccer.
Oh, such good.
Yeah. And then for the adults, we'll throw in the Raid Redemption.
Yes. Oh,
yes.
Talk
about some awesome hallway fight scenes.
Yes. Yeah.
That was
that's an hour and a half conversation in and of itself.
Yes.
Between the cinematography and some of those scenes, the story behind what they were trying to do, which was basically create their version of Bruce Lee's original understanding of Game of Death, is what they were trying to do. That's their homage to it.
Okay.
That's why
I just saw it as an Indonesian version of Dread.
Yeah, same thing.
Because it was like the same. It was almost the same setup.
Yeah.
Some of the scenes were almost identical too, but it is what it is. All right. So I got a regular self-defense class coming up on the 9th of July. July 15th to 17th is Bram's birthday bash. It's going to be fantastic. This year's going to be phenomenal. I'm already starting to work on next year because that's actually his 70th birthday. But we'll get into that later. I have a crimp user course on August 6th. August 21st, we are officially sponsors of the Union High School volleyball team. Nice. So they're going to be doing a grass tournament on the 21st of August. So we're going to have a booth there, and it's going to be awesome. Then I got to throw out October 1st and 2nd is Jim Corn's autumn camp. Don't know if it's going to be actually one of his Friends in the Arts seminars where all the Q-Show guys from all over the world try and come, but it all kind of depends. And then that very next weekend, we have the HKI camp in Jacksonville. And then Danny changed the dates for for his birthday, his 10th Dawn seminar. That's actually going to be November 4th. So this will be updated on a regular basis so we can get people out there. But anyway, so we'll do that. So Rob.
Yes.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
It was a great talk.
Always.
We'll do this more often. And then maybe we should do this I mentioned this a couple Fridays ago that just having you on. I think maybe Friday, especially while Kenobi's going on, Friday will just be Star Trek and Kenobi, because I think Kenobi is showing on Wednesdays because the next episode is going to be June 1st.
Yeah.
And then Strange New Worlds is going to be on the 2nd, which is Thursday. So I think Friday would be a safe. People have had time to watch it.
Yep.
Watch it a couple of times. And then I guess if you're available, we can just basically Friday can be kind of like how on you have that your nerd news.
Yep, my nerdy news.
Nerdy news. Friday can just be just the time to geek out about stuff.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I think it's going to be interesting this coming week where we got to make sure your laptop can pick up the both of us sitting on the couch drinking tea.
Yes. That's right. Oh my gosh. I'm totally thinking it's like, yeah. Well, I'd already planned that anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah. So next Friday, I have a dentist appointment at 8:30 in the morning.
That's fine.
So I figured after my dentist appointment, I would come and pick you up,
Mhm.
and we'd come back here and just stream. So it'll be so we might not actually start at 9:30. It might be more like 10, but that's okay. Well,
We'll
whenever
have
we
fun
go live,
nonetheless.
we go live. Huh?
We'll have fun nonetheless.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we'll just push the laptop a little bit back, sit, you know, got a big couch. So
it's gonna be great. And then Fridays are typically for me. I'm usually pretty good, so
yeah.
I try, like during the week is kind of weird, but Fridays seem to be my slower day until I'm surprised my phone hasn't blown up yet. Probably about 2:30 until 7 is when I do a lot of work, even though I stop working at 5. That's when all my phone calls and fires happen before the weekend, downside with insurance. But yeah, no, I'm down with that. I think it'd be great as we go through this. And I'm going to say, if it still works out, we should do it for lower decks as well. Because
whenever that starts. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, August, I think, or July, August, something like that. I think if they gave a date, I can't remember if they did. I might be confusing with something else.
I don't know.
I'll look it up later.
Okay. All right, brother. Well, I will see you. I will see you in real next Thursday evening.
Yep.
So, but until then, I will be back on Monday. I think Lisa even said that she might actually do this with me Monday. I don't know. We'll see. But everybody have a safe weekend. And if you've watched this long and you are still not following or subscribing or whatever, please do so. And then, so there you go. So peace out, live long and prosper. And we are gone.